Hello guys and welcome to the FPL Duo. We are here for the deadline stream for Game Week 27 on this Tuesday evening for a change. Not a Saturday deadline as normal. It is a different 3-day, obviously difference of period between Game Week 6 and 27. So it is quite a fast turnaround. Hopefully you've had enough time to decide and obviously organise your team and know who to transfer in and out. But we do have this hour or so left to do it in. Before we get into this video though, make sure you give this video a like, subscribe for more, and leave a comment down below if you wish. And Huss will join us momentarily in the stream. He can't make it at this moment in time, but he will join halfway through to show you what his plans are and his team selection for Game Week 27. But for the moment, you can see now my team on the screen of my starting 11 and bench order for you to cast your eyes on. And obviously, give me your view, opinions on what you think, because it is going to be a bit boring this week. I'm deciding to roll the transfer. I'm not looking to transfer anyone in or out for this week. So yeah, it's good. I'm trying to see if I can save some transfers for the future and plan ahead of that. I think, like I did for the double game week beforehand. But as it stands at the moment, Pickford in goal. The back three selections are Huijsen, Munoz and Trent. The midfield four selections are in Burmo, Palmer, Salah and Kluivert, with Isaac and Wood, Wissa up front, and Vardy, Marston, Rogers, Milenkovic and Mikalenko on the bench in that order. And just so I put the captaincy on Salah, because that's who I am captaining. It's not Wissa again. So if you did see it on Wissa, it is on Salah now. And that will be saved, and that is pretty much all the action you're going to see from my team, I think, for the rest of this hour or so. So yeah, Salah is my captain this week with the vice on Palmer, who has a nice fixture against Southampton at home. Maybe people attempted to go different again, but I think for me, I'm sticking with Salah until I see a lack of form from him, because every game week it seems he can score or get an assist or both. So it is very hard to back against him when he's on this record-breaking form at the moment. But he has an interesting fixture against Newcastle, so it is Isaac versus Salah in this fixture this week. But as it goes to show, obviously there is a bit of clashes in between the teams. Like, obviously I've got Munoz, I've got Rogers on the bench, who's currently yellow flagged. I'm not sure how serious that actually is. I'm going to keep him there just in case he's fit enough to play. I'm not deciding to play him. I think Aston Villa, that's a tough game. So I just have him on the first team bench in case there's a surprise somewhere in the starting 11 of one of my players doesn't in fact start or feature on the bench. Then he's there to cover it. And also we've got Milenkovic, who I have been tempted to play Milenkovic over someone, maybe Huijsen, but because I'm sure Nottingham Forest can sustain Arsenal at the moment. I think a lot of teams can. West Ham can do it. I think Nottingham Forest are more than capable of doing it as well, even though they conceded 4 in their last game against Newcastle. I still think they still have that mentality to keep a clean sheet against the big teams like Arsenal, who are lacking that striking force at the moment with Saka, Havertz out, and using the makeshift forward Mourinho, which hasn't quite worked to plan for Arteta. But let me take a few of your comments in chat as they are rolling in. First of all, we have Elika. So evening, Elika. And yes, I'm doing all right, thanks. Hopefully you're doing good as well. Salah captain is a no-brainer. Yes, absolutely is a no-brainer this week. You have to be very brave, I think, to go against Salah. With especially a home fixture at Anfield. Against Newcastle, who did concede 3 against Nottingham Forest and looked utterly disconnected in the second half of that game. It was a complete different Newcastle in that second half against Nottingham Forest last week, and it was very lucky that they didn't actually draw or lose that game near the end. But yeah, captain Salah is a no-brainer this week. Let me know, guys, if anyone else is going different captain, just let me know in the chat, and I'll be intrigued to know who you're choosing instead of Salah this week. And good evening, Roman. Use my 2 free transfers doing Arteta and Rodgers out to Pereira and Bowen in. So obviously you still have your assistant manager chip, which is interesting because a few of you do. If you did decide to use it when the last double game week was. So yeah, interesting moves using the free transfers on Arteta and Rodgers. They seem obviously standout ones. Arsenal not doing great. Rodgers has blanked for many weeks without return, and Pereira and Bowen. I think fresh legs. I think for West Ham. I sense a good run of form for West Ham, especially Bowen as well, who scored against obviously Arsenal in that 1-0 win, and Pereira as well. We'll have to see what happens with that, but I'm sure it's going to be a good week for those 2 free transfers. And yeah, it's your last week for the assistant manager chip as well. So yeah, hopefully it's better than my last week of my assistant manager chip where I went McKenna. I swapped out Potter for McKenna and it didn't work out for the last day, but hopefully it is a turnaround for you, Roman, for Pereira. But yeah, in terms of discussion, there's such a fast turnaround. Obviously, 3-day gap. We don't normally get a 3-day gap at this moment in the game week, but because the schedule is different for this season, I'm afraid we might be seeing a lot of these breaking periods of 3 days. Because obviously, the next deadline after this is Saturday. So again, there's not long left until we have to go stream again for another deadline, which will be game week 28. And then obviously after that, you've got blank game at 29, which should be interesting for those who are deciding to free hit, not free hit, and those who are just trying to get by using free transfers and hits as well. So yeah, it will be interesting now for come game, the blank game at 29, where I'm looking to possibly use my free hit because I have too many players to transfer out prior to this moment to when blank game at 29 is. That's only a 2-week gap, which doesn't seem that far away as well. So yeah, I'll probably need more than I'll have 3 transfers if I do decide to roll until then, which I don't think will be enough. And I kind of want to use the free hit sometime, and I think that is the right time to navigate the blank in 29. I also just noticed I'm in the same situation as you with Pickford with clashing with Burma and Wissa. I've got Fabianski on the bench, and I'm torn between playing Pickford or transferring in the keeper. I mean, I think I probably would keep just Pickford in for the sake of it, because I don't know, maybe if hindsight you really wanted Burma to Wissa to perform instead of Pickford keeping a clean sheet. I kind of think of it like that. But in the worst case, if Brentford don't score, then at least you got Pickford there for a clean sheet there. But I think I would prefer for Wissa and Burma to go big again this week, especially with Wissa's low ownership, and not many people have in Burma either. So I think I'll rather have them do the business and just keep Pickford there in goal. Maybe you can get some save points if Brentford have a lot of shots, but I'm not really keen on the clean sheet, even though Everton have been really good this season. It's an away game at obviously Brentford. That's going to be tough for him, but we shall see. Hopefully we can. For those who have Brentford assets, to perform well again. But in your case, torn between playing Pickford or transferring the keeper, I'll probably just play Pickford and save your transfer on the keeper. I don't really like using a transfer on a keeper if the rest of my team is fine. I mean, my team is fine, but it's not the best team I could possibly go with this week. But it's fine enough for me to not change anyone, if that makes sense. Michael, hi. Should I play Pedro or Palmer? I just joined in. Well, ironically, Pedro forward. Sorry, not Pedro forward. Yeah, Pedro. So I'm getting confused between João Pedro and Pedro Porro. I'm assuming you mean João Pedro on that. But if it is the case, obviously he has Bournemouth. He did score last week against Southampton. I'll be still reluctant to play João Pedro if I'm honest. I'd rather just transfer him out and play Palmer. Palmer's got Southampton at home. He did score against them last game when they played away. And it is a different type of form now for Chelsea because they aren't playing as well as they did when they first met at Southampton. But Southampton are really bad at conceding. They're the worst team to concede. So I'd rather play Palmer over Pedro. And it is João Pedro. Yes, definitely. I would definitely play Palmer over João Pedro in that case. Even though João Pedro scored last week, it still feels like it's been underwhelming from him this season if you have owned him for quite a long time. And this is the $1 million question because I think this is the only competition between these two. But Captain Salah or Palmer, I mean, there is no debate, if I'm honest, Elliot. But I know some people would like to be chasing. I mean, I should be really captaining Palmer this week and chasing, but I feel like that will put me more in the hole if I do go against Salah and he turns up again and Palmer doesn't. That's my only worry. And it's scary how Salah's form has been this season. It seems as he gets older, he seems to be in his prime. At the moment, this is one of his best seasons in terms of FPL and in terms of his season at Liverpool. And it's crazy, he might potentially leave on the free in summer if the contract not signed or not agreed to. But it is Captain Salah for me. It's just not easy to go against Salah at the moment. Even though Palmer has Southampton at home, it's too dangerous on the form that Salah's on. Because you don't, even against Man City, where I didn't captain him and I went Wissa, he still managed to outscore Wissa against one of the tough fixtures. So, yeah, for me, Anfield, Newcastle at home, I feel like he will deliver again as captain. So, yeah, the only thing really should chase a rank now is to play around with the players around Salah in your 11 and try and find like a gem, like a differential to go for. I think that is the only way you're climbing rank now, unless we see a different Salah's form. Because it's almost impossible to not captain Salah. Because every week you see him scoring or getting an assist or both. It's unreal. As a Man United fan, it's just like watching Man United back in the days where you saw the prime legends there, and their form like Ray Rooney, Gary Neville, etc. Rio Ferdinand. It was just like watching one of those players for Liverpool for Salah. But yeah, it's great. It's great to watch Liverpool play, and especially how Salah can provide and score goals as well. But yeah, in terms of the title race, the gap is winding. Obviously, Arsenal loses to West Ham, and that does mean Arsenal have played a game less than Liverpool, though. I think now, because now Liverpool have played their game in hand. I believe, if I go to the table quickly, that yeah, Liverpool played 27 times and Arsenal played 26, so they do have a game in hand, Arsenal, but there is 11-point gap at the moment, which is a pretty big gap, even though they've got a game in hand still. So there is a long way to go for Arsenal, and it's not looking good for them, especially without Saka and Havertz. I think without them, realistically, I think Arsenal are at the title race, and Liverpool have won the title in my view. And it's not easy fixtures for Arsenal, especially with Nottingham Forest. That's not going to be an easy challenge, especially even though it's a home away one. Oh, it is away for Arsenal, so yeah, it is going to be a tough ask who can score for Arsenal and who can get those 3 points. Alex says Liverpool could lose the rest of the games and Arsenal still wouldn't catch up. Yeah, that is entirely possible. I mean, I don't see it, but yeah, it is possible. I mean, just Arsenal just seem to be struggling in every game since Havertz and Saka, especially, have gone. They've lost that attack. Their defense is fine, really good, really good shape in defence. They don't concede that many despite losing. But it's just their attack. There's just not covered. There's not enough experience for Arsenal up front. All that experience has been lost in injuries, and yeah, I think that's put a back burner on Arsenal's title fight against Liverpool now. Steve, welcome. Hello. Hope you're good. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. I hope you're doing all right as well. Now, the fixture times for these games are very well. Obviously, everyone plays at the same time tonight, around 7:30 and 8 o'clock. So you're gonna have to pick what game you want to watch, because you won't be able to watch and go to the next one, etc. They're all at the same time, so not really sure which one I'm gonna watch. I probably will see probably the Brentford Everton one for sure at 7:30. That's on a Wednesday though. So the 7:30 games tonight are Brighton, Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Wolves and Fulham, and Chelsea, Southampton. I'll probably watch Chelsea and Southampton play. That is the later kickoff at 8:15 UK time. So yeah, that should be a good one for those who have Palmer still in the team. And you don't back a Forest clean sheet. I mean, I've been contemplating Elika. I really have. I've been tempted to take out Hoyson and put Milenkovic there. I might just do it to see how I feel about it. But I'm thinking of putting Milenkovic there. Because honestly, I don't see Arsenal scoring. I really don't. I kind of do back Forest to keep a clean sheet at home. And I think they want to obviously come back to winning ways again after losing to Newcastle last week. I think they still have it in them to keep that clean sheet. And Milenkovic did actually score last game week. He does have attacking threat when it's needed from him. So I quite like that idea. And against Arsenal, you never know. It could happen. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I wasn't surprised at West Ham scoring and keeping a clean sheet against Arsenal. That doesn't come out a surprise. Because Arsenal just doesn't have the goal scorer enough. But yeah, I think I'll put Milenkovic there instead of Hoyson. I can't remember when Hoyson actually kept a clean sheet for me because it felt like ages. Well, game week 23 when they won 5-0 against Nottingham Forest. I think that was the week I did bench him though. But yeah, there's not been many clean sheets from Bournemouth. Even the one against Wolves, but they were 10 men down. So yeah, I think I will play Milenkovic. Make it interesting. His ownership's not that bad either, 7.8%. So if he gets something big this game week, that could be a good rank game for me. I am chasing, so it kind of makes sense to go for that sort of idea of player. But yeah, let me know, guys, what your plans are for this week. Some of you do have a system manager chip, which you mentioned in the chat, and we'll be interested to know who you're transferring in, because we do have a double soon. Obviously, Newcastle double in amongst others in 32. So 32 will be a popular time where you will bring in Newcastle, Crystal Palace, etc. into your team. So yeah, let me know who you're thinking of. Steve, I took out Trossard for Bowen, then realised I was one transfer away from a decent bench boost. I took a -4 to take out 5 for Wan-Bissaka. I have now for Bruggen, Robertson, Trent, and Wood on the bench. Yeah, it's a pretty good bench. There you have there. For Bruggen, Robinson, Trent, and Wood on the bench. Yeah, it could be very good bench boost for this week. I still have my bench boost. Still thinking when I could possibly use it, preferably in the double, which possibly I could use it for 32 if I really bring in heavy Crystal Palace Newcastle players. I could use it for 32 and then get it out of the way because don't know if there's any more doubles after 32. There probably is. But I got my free hit and bench boost left, so it does kind of work in using my last chips going forward. Because I'll use my free hit in 29 and then bench boost in 32. And we'll see how that goes. And hopefully it pays off enough for me to at least reach the top 1 mil. It's a very big ask because I'm 2.1 mil. But I need something very special to happen. If I'm going to keep Pickford, shouldn't I bench one of Whistle and Burma? I've got Rashford and Robinson on the bench. I mean, Edeka, I still think it's still worth keeping. It's still worth not benching Whistle or Burma. I think you still want to play both like I am. Because if you've still got Whistle or Burma still in the team, then you've still got that clash unless you take both of them out or bench both, which I wouldn't want to do. So you might as well just play both of the Brentford players, and I'll say just take the L on the clean sheet if it does get wiped by Pickford. But if it doesn't, then at least you've got a Pickford clean sheet. So either way, if Mbeumo wins a score, you've won in that sense. But if Pickford keeps the clean sheet against Brentford, then depending on how many points he gets and how many shots and saves he gets in that game, then I suppose you win in that aspect. So one way or another, you should technically get something out of this. Well, we both should get something out of this if we play in Burma, Whistle, and Pickford. I'll be surprised if all three of them blank, if I'm honest. But yeah, there should be some fortune from having this clash. And having Rashford on Robinson on the bench. I mean, yeah, I probably would do the same, have those two on the bench, because I think I would still play Whistle in Burma over those two. Because it's not sure whether Rashford starts or not yet. And Robertson has a tough game. Play Aina or Hoyson. I would, in my opinion, I'm playing Milenkovic, so I would probably play him over Hoyson. Just because I'm not looking at the fixture really, because it is Arsenal at home. I'm looking at more the perspective of the team from last game week and what I've witnessed in the last 2 game weeks. In terms of Arsenal situation, it has changed. And I will back Nottingham Forest to keep a clean sheet. I don't know about Bournemouth keeping one against Brighton. I think they will concede, Bournemouth. So I think Aina is the one I'd probably go for. He does have attacking threat as well, Aina, so he could cause a bit of trouble for Arsenal at the back, as well as Milenkovic. So yeah, I'll probably play Aina over Hoyson. I think it's a bit more exciting as well to see what Arsenal do in that response to that 1-0 loss to West Ham. Steve, it leaves me with System Manager 31, 32, 33, free hit 34, and wildcard 35. Interesting chip strategy, obviously, because the doubles in 32, if you use the System Manager, then makes sense, obviously, to free hit 34. Teams will blank, and then wildcard in the 35, where the fixtures become a bit more tougher at near the end. So yeah, it's a good plan. I don't have my wild card. I used it already, my second one, and my System Manager I used in the double game week prior to can't remember what game week it was now, but I think it was 24-25, somewhere where there was a double. I think I played Moyles first and then Slot and then McKenna. Hamza, who to play, Aina or Robinson? Again, I'm backing on a Forest to do well against Arsenal, so I will say play Aina and see what happens. I think it's just interesting to see, because a lot of people I think will bench Aina or Milenkovic or whoever has in defence because of that fixture. But for me, Arsenal have had a big drop off ever since they lost Havertz and Saka, their main 2 up front. there's just a lack of that attacking in that last third, which makes me think maybe not the Forest can hold on if they're defensively stable in this game. They could hold on, keep a clean sheet, and maybe Aina can get a bit more than a clean sheet in this game. I don't know. I feel like there's something going to happen in this that's going to put Arsenal even more further back away from Liverpool. Let's just say it's not looking good for them. I'd be very surprised if Arsenal win this game. At best, a draw, but a win, that's a big one, especially for the title race. They'll be playing really hard for that game, Arsenal, but I feel like they will run out of steam, if not already. Especially after that loss to West Ham, that did hurt them a lot. Hello, Dan, man. I'm good. How are you doing? I've been thinking Cliver to Bowen for -4 or Trossard, Cliver, and João Pedro to Mbeumo, Bowen, and Beto thoughts. I am tempted at that -4. Yes. Yes, I would do that -4. To take out Trossard, Cliver, and João Pedro. I mean, I don't like João Pedro as an asset in FPL. Even though he scored last week, I still think that's a bit not really a win if he even scoring a goal after so much disappointments beforehand. Trossard, I'm not a big fan of Arsenal attack. Even one of them I wouldn't even have. I have no Arsenal attack, and I've been pretty good with it. Scored that many goals, especially without the main force there. The lack of goals has dried up a bit. So I'm fine with taking Trossard out, João Pedro, and even Cliver. I would only really keep Cliver for the Southampton game we just had, but not postpone the length of his appearance in the team. So yeah, I think Mbeumo, Bowen, and Beto are the great match, the trio for that -4. I sense Bowen's going to have a really good few weeks with the fixtures he has, and Beto is on fire. Ndiaye is injured, so Beto looks like the main man up front. It seems to be working. He never used to play minutes behind Sean Dyche either, but I think Moyles has seen something in Beto, and it is working for him. And obviously, Mbeumo, the main man, he's on a good season. Yeah, not much more to say for Mbeumo. He had a big week last week, goal and assist. Playing against Everton at home though will be tough, but I think he will get something out of that game too. So yeah, I'll take a -4 to bring Bowen and Beto and Mbeumo in. Oh, that would be a -12. I see. Okay, sorry, I did misread that question. So the first one is a -4, but the second one is a -12. Okay, in that case, then I might be a bit reluctant to bring it in for a -12 in that case, because that's a big deduction. But yeah, I mean, I'll do the first move in that case for now, decline it to Bowen. And then in the future, eventually take out Trossard to Mbeumo and take Trossard out for either Mbeumo or Bowen. Well, it has to be Mbeumo because you've already got you're planning to bring Bowen in, so and then do João Pedro to Beto. Whichever order that is, obviously, if you want to keep João Pedro for another week or vice versa, then that is up to you. Hamza, I've got bench boost, free hit, wild card, and triple captain. When do you think would be good to use them? Well, we haven't got long, Hamza, before the double game weeks are finished. Supposedly, obviously, there's a 32 one, which is confirmed. But after that, I'm not sure about 34. I think you have to use them really soon. You definitely want to use your triple captain in the double game week. I feel like. So the upcoming double game week will be Newcastle doubling Crystal Palace, I'll probably slap it triple captain on Isaac during that week. And then obviously the wild card you could potentially use in blank game week 29 or use it later on in 34. You got two options to use it in then. Bench boost. Again, you probably won't find a double game week where you will use it. I'm not a big fan of the bench boost either. So I think you can afford to use it in a single game week. Where you have a lot of free transfers, you can bring in a lot of players and then set up your team on the 11 and your bench and then activate the bench boost then. But obviously, it is up to you when you use your chips, but I would advise using your triple captain when the double game week 32 happens and use your wild card in either 29 or 34. Or use the free hit in 29 and wild card in 34. That works as well because you're in a good position to still have the wild card, so you can afford to use it later on in the season rather than use it on the blank game week 29 because you've got that free hit there. So yeah, that's probably what I would do if I still had those chips. And Dan message, cool, thanks. We're going to do that bow move anyway. Yeah, you're welcome, Dan. We're happy to help with your decisions. Hopefully, it does work out for you this week. The move it should do. It's going to be a big move as well because Bowen's not really owned that much either. I don't think many people are going to bring him in this short period of time between the game weeks. So, yeah, hopefully it does work out well for you on that -4. Io, hello, my team is Flecken, Gabriel, Robertson, Mikalenko, Mitoma, Palmer, Salah, Elanga, Clive, Gakpo, Isaac, Dubravka, Lewis, Keane, Ndiaye with 1 free transfer, 2.9 in the bank. Roll or do Ndiaye to Gakpo to Cunha. I'll probably do it to Cunha, and I would use the free transfer to take out Ndiaye because he is flagged red, so he isn't expected to play anytime soon. And yeah, I'll probably use a 1 free transfer to bring Cunha in, who does have a nice fixture. And who would you bench? I would probably bench. Out of those options, I'll probably bench. It's either got to be Matoma or Cliver. I'll probably do Matoma. I just think with Brighton, you don't really know who's going to score in that team. There's always someone different when Brighton do score every week. There's not really like a main goal scorer. So I'd probably would bench Matoma in that sense. Yeah, I probably would bench Matoma out of those picks if that was my selection. Matoma would be on the bench for me. And Danaman says, "What are you doing? How have you done?" I haven't done anything, Dan. I'm deciding to roll the transfer this week. I don't think my team necessarily needs anything doing to it this game week. I think I guess save a few transfers up for leading up to blank game week 29. Just before that, obviously, I will use it in 28, the free transfers, and just go with potentially Crystal Palace or Newcastle assets because they do double in 32. So I do want to be early on that and bring some players in before that instead of bringing them all in at the same time, loading up wise. So yeah, that's what I plan to do. Just rolling this week and nothing else more. So it is a calm, relaxing week. Not having to do any plans or change anything around. It's just literally what you see on the screen is the team I'm rolling with. It's very hard in terms of the defense back three of the clean sheet probability because all those fixtures are really tough. But I'm liking the midfield. That's pretty promising. But the forward line, again, tough fixtures. It's hard to know how many points this game week will bring. But I don't think it will be as many as we've had in the last 3 game weeks. I think it will be quite average. 40 to 50 points, if that. And I think majority of them will come from Salah captain. I feel like the rest of the team will sort of return here and there, but not very significant returns. But we have to see. Dan says, "Talk me out of Bowen captaincy. Feels tempting being the last game and all." Well, I don't know if I have the capability of talking you out of the Bowen captaincy. Obviously, that's the opposite. I have the capacity to talk to you out of that Bowen captaincy just because. Let me just show you one thing on the screen, and that will. So this is Salah's record. Now, hopefully, that is to talk you out of the Bowen captaincy, Dan, on the screen right there. Just seeing Salah's record of double hauls and his 285 points accumulated, along with scoring in every game apart from Brentford, not the Forest, and Nottingham Forest twice. He actually blanked twice against Nottingham Forest, which is interesting. So yeah, he's only blanked against two teams, Brentford and Nottingham Forest. He has scored or assisted in every match against any other team in the league so far. There you go, Dan. You're welcome. Even though it is the last game and all for Bowen, it's still bold to do it. Yeah, and that's me saying that. And I usually like to go different, but this man here on the screen, the Captain Salah, King Salah, he's just a machine. We were all talking about Haaland last season, and the season before that, and now it's all about Salah at the moment. No one's near his level this season as far. We've seen some close competitors like Chris Wood, Isaac, doing really well, but Salah seems to be just outperforming them. Nice. I think you can get 11 for 29 with free transfers. I haven't really planned that, but I will mess around, experiment with it, and see if I can get 11 for 29. I'll see what I can do. But yeah, I think I preferably want to. If it means taking out a Crystal Palace or Newcastle player, then I probably won't do it. So I want them for 32. But we'll see, because they obviously blank in 29. So not long left, guys. We got 20 or so minutes left. So not long to go. The deadline is slowly coming to an end. But hopefully you're not in a predicament of who you're planning to bring in or taken out, etc. It should be quite straightforward on who you got in the team. So just trying to think now, what could I possibly discuss? I suppose we can look at the fixtures for this game week, because again, they are quite congested into this 3 or 4 day gap. So I'll switch over to my other screen, and we can check the fixtures and see what we think. So obviously Tuesday games, 4 of them: Brighton, Bournemouth as Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Wolves and Fulham as the half-7 kickoffs, and then you got Chelsea, Southampton, the late one at 8:15, which I'm probably just going to watch that one tonight. I'm just keeping an eye on the rest of the other 3. And then next day, Wednesday, you've got 5 fixtures against Then you got Brentford, Everton, Man United, Ipswich, Nottingham Forest, Arsenal, big one. Spurs, Man City, all at 7:30, and then you got the later one, Liverpool, Newcastle, which I probably watched the Liverpool one, watch a bit of the Nottingham Forest and Arsenal one in between, and see what the results are from those games. But they are big games, those three. They should be really exciting if you're watching them. Spurs, Man City, especially Liverpool, Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, and Arsenal. I'm not brave enough to watch Man United and Ipswich. I'll just see what the result is after that game is, and probably watch the highlights because I think the highlights are enough for me to watch Man United at the moment. And then you got the last fixture on Thursday, which will wrap up obviously the week, and that's West Ham versus Leicester. And this is why Bowen is one of those key men to bring in. Leicester seem to be struggling with the new manager Van Nistelrooy. They're losing big to Brentford last week, and then before that losing 3-0 again. So Leicester are conceding goals, and West Ham had just won against Arsenal. Makes sort of sense to bring in a West Ham player like Bowen, and maybe a defender like Wan-Bissaka, who does show attacking threat. I mentioned it ages ago. It seems like a long time now, but I do like those two as options for West Ham for that fixture at least. And good luck as well, Steve, this week. Hopefully you get a nice rank and a nice finish to the end of the week. Hopefully the captaincy pays off too. Then you got decisions again whether to play Kepa, Kirkes, or Pickford and Mikalenko. Ooh. They're not big on the Bournemouth because Bournemouth are playing away against Brighton. And I feel like Brighton will score in that game and wipe the clean sheet. But retrospectively, I do see Mbermo or someone scoring for Brentford and wiping Pickford and Mikalenko out of the clean sheet. I think the best thing I'd probably do is play one of the two, mix it up a bit. Maybe play Kirkes or Kepa, or play Pickford or Mikalenko. So, worst case, they both blank. Their clean sheets are white, but at least then you've got cover for both of the teams in case one does keep a clean sheet against the other, or vice versa in their matches. So, I'll either play Kirkes instead of playing both and go and double up on them, and then either play Pickford or Mikalenko and bench one of them. That is probably how I would do it. It might seem obviously backwards because you'd want to put your faith into one of those two duos. But realistically, I don't really see a clean sheet for either side. I don't think I want to put all my eggs in one basket and choose either Bournemouth or Everton. I think I would rather mix it up and maybe there's a chance for one of them to keep a clean sheet. But yes, hopefully it does help in your decision. But I think I would play Kirkes because I think he could maybe get something more than a clean sheet, if not that attacking threat. And then message Pickford saving in Birmingham would help massively. It is true, yes. Pickford is good at potentially saving a penalty. So that would work. I would have Pickford and Kirkes. That combination. I think that goes really well. I like the sound of that combination that you could go for. Yeah, I mean, it would be not great for the Burma owners, but if you got Pickford in goals, that sort of mitigates for it. So there's something if that happens. Yeah, not obviously but yeah, that's the fixture schedule. You can see on the screen. I don't know what match your interest, obviously, but quite a few big games this week, especially on Wednesday. A lot of big games. We'll be intrigued to see what the table looks like after this week. So let's just switch it back to my team for time being for the rest of this deadline stream. So yeah, my team on the screen, it's locked in and ready. Salah captain, obviously, with advice on Palmer. But yeah, the season, there's not really long left, about 11 game weeks left, I think. And then that's it. The season will be over again. We'll have a nice long break, contemplate how it's been. There is just one thing actually. The knee-jerk reaction probably will happen on the Wednesday after the Liverpool Newcastle game. Now that will be a very late deadline, not deadline, late knee-jerk reaction, because that match will probably not finish until around just before 10 o'clock UK time. So we'll probably stream around just after 10, somewhat around there. Otherwise, yeah, there's not really another time we could do that because the Tuesday one is late, 8:15. Even the Thursday one, that's 8 o'clock. So realistically, it's going to be a late knee-jerk reaction no matter what day we do it. I mean, it makes sense to do it Wednesday because that's when most of the teams have played. Only West Ham and Leicester will be the only remaining ones, and I think we don't have me or Huss doesn't have any West Ham or Leicester players in there, so you'll see all our points from our players. Jenny Berry, hello. Thoughts on Bernardo Silva to Brendan Johnson or Kulusevski? Yeah, I mean that's a good shout. I do like the Spurs assets still, like Brendan Johnson and Kulusevski. Obviously, Brendan Johnson scored 2 goals last game week against Ipswich, and Kulusevski had a very good game too. So yeah, I think Bernardo Silva to Brendan Johnson or Kulusevski is a good shout. I probably would still go with Kulusevski just for experience and minutes, because Brendan Johnson does have sort of like a minute's risk to him, which is surprising considering the player he is. I thought he would be like a 90-minute player. But yes, I think either one is good. Regardless, that's where most of the points are coming from, those two. In terms of the team, there's no one else really clicking as well as they are. Eddie Rogers to Mbeumo for free, then bench Enzo/Wood. Rogers to Mbeumo is for free. It sounds good. Benching Enzo or Wood, that's a difficult one because I've said this before last game week. I will never bench Chris Wood, no matter what fixture he has. He's never stepping foot on that bench. So yeah, I probably have to bench Enzo. I'd rather bench Enzo, even though he's got Southampton at home, which ideally is a good fixture for him, where he could do well in. It's just you can't bench Chris Wood. It's like a legal contract. You just can't bench Chris Wood. It's not viable. But I'd feel horrible benching Enzo. It's a hard decision, but I think I'd have to do that, Elliot. Because there's no other way of playing Enzo and Wood. Yeah, it would have to be unless you play Enzo and Wood this week and save bringing in Mbeumo for Rogers. You could bench Rogers and play Enzo and Wood. That's an option too, if you want to go without Mbeumo for another week. He has got Everton. All depends if you see it. Mbeumo going big for that game, because Everton are very hard to break down as well. Let's not forget. Harry Davis, hello, just joining. Is your team on the screen? Because my team is actually pretty similar. Mine transfer plans. There's no transfer plans this week. I am rolling the transfer over this week. That doesn't. I don't think there's anything needs doing for my team. But yes, that is my team on the screen. Huss is not currently here at the moment. I'm not sure if he will be here to join the deadline stream, but there is still time left, so we have to see. But yeah, I'm rolling the transfer, Harry. Dan benching João Pedro again, and he's going to hurt me. He got 1 goal, 1 assist in reverse fixture. I mean, owning João Pedro was the worst thing I think I did for my team, apart from taking out Haaland when he had a poor run of form and then didn't have him at the start of the season. That's sort of retrospectively to João Pedro in that, where he has got absolutely nothing for me when I've owned him, but always gets something when you don't own him. He's one of those players. I just don't see João Pedro being consistently returning this form. It's just really an on and off switch from him. I did really hope for more from João Pedro this season, but I think since his injury, when he returned, really good game week, and then after that, it just went quiet for him. At the same time, Brighton really haven't had great results either. But I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't regret benching João Pedro, even if he does get a goal or assist or both or more. I still think I would do it. It will hurt, but I won't feel that much in pain from it. And Jennifer says, have a good week as well. Yeah, obviously have a good week, guys. It feels weird doing it on the Tuesday because we normally say have a good weekend. But it's instead have a good weekday instead in terms of this deadline. Any news on Gakpo, Harry Miller? No, I don't have any news on Gakpo. I'm sure Huss would because he's more engaged in obviously Liverpool chat because he's a Liverpool fan. He will know all the information, but he's not with us currently, unfortunately. So I can't elaborate on the news on Gakpo. But hopefully he does start because I feel like I don't think he started the last game or the game before, so unless there's a news on injury, I'm not sure, but he should be good to play this week. Are you going to free hit game week 29? Well, I'm going to see and sort of play around with the team because I want to see if I can get away with not free hitting 29 and potentially save it for later. I have to see because I don't have my second wild card, so I still would have to navigate 34 with that blank potentially come up as well. So I'll have to play around with the team and plan my moves and see if I can just get away with having 11 for game week 29. If I save my free transfers up until that moment, I might be able to get away with 11 in the squad and bench the rest who are blanking. But yeah, not long left. 7 minutes, so we're in the last few minutes of this deadline stream. And don't forget, guys, to give a like on this video. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. And subscribe for more if you like the content as well. But yes, it's been relatively quick stream. It feels like I've only been here for 10 minutes. Time is certainly moving fast at the moment. But yes, keep your questions in the chat going, guys, and your opinions. And yeah, I'll happily shout them out for you in the chat. And is there any non-captain Salah? I said that right well. Non-captain Salah options out there. Is there anyone that's going against Salah this week? Let me know. Shout it out in the chat. Because I'll be intrigued to know who you go for other than Palmer. Because I don't really see an outstanding captain pick other than them two at the moment that you could possibly go for. Which looks obvious. There is some tough games out there this week, so it's hard to pick a captain worthy player other than Palmer and Salah. But Palmer has not really had great form in recent weeks, and Salah has, even though Palmer has the nicer fixture. Salah can probably still outscore Palmer against Newcastle at home at Anfield. So it depends how you look at it. Who you think is going to outscore who? I think it will be Salah this week again. doing the business. I think without Liverpool Salah, it would be a different scenario, I think. But we'll be interested what Isaac does against Liverpool, playing it obviously against each other. Will Isaac score as well and cause an upset at Anfield? And there is a lot of home fixtures. I think Munoz, Cliver, and Isaac are the only away ones. So majority of the team, eight of the people as well, having Brighton or Brentford away. 4 of the 7 have away fixtures, and almost the 7 have home. So it's not that bad. Home games to have in your team. I guess not long to go. 4 minutes left now. So we're in the last few minutes of this deadline. So we will be wrapping up very soon, guys. But prior, or obviously to ending the stream, hopefully you have a good week and a green arrow is coming for you, hopefully. And let's hope for another big, obviously, game week, because it feels like without the chips, there's not been a really good game week where we've had a lot of points from. Most of the game weeks have been really average. Just a normal game week without any chips used or any double game weeks or whatnot. It just feels like there hasn't been that pointage that we used to have last season. I feel like this season has really been a low point bracket in terms of averages. I'm just going to check my team is saved, so I don't. Oh, it's not saved. Now it is saved. I think because I changed Milenkovic out for Hoyson, I don't think I saved it. So I'm glad I double checked that because I think Hoyson would have been on obviously the start 11 instead of Milenkovic. So yeah, make sure you check your save your team. Obviously make the changes because I almost didn't do that, and that could have gone really bad. So double Liverpool Newcastle attack and defense. Is it worth getting Guardiola for a hit? I don't think I'll be rush. I don't think I'll be worth going for Guardiola for a hit. Double Liverpool Newcastle attack and defense. Very interesting. But yeah, I don't think it's worth getting Guardiola for a hit. Even though he's scored 4 this season. I still think without that, Man City struggle for clean sheets, and without obviously Guardiola's goal involvement most weeks, you're not really getting much sort of output from him for Man City. I think I'd rather go for Marmouche or someone like that rather than go for a defender like Guardiola, even though it shows attacking threat in some games. It's not every game where he's potentially going to score as well. Well, yes, 2 minutes to go, guys. 2 minutes. Lock in your team, lock your captain selection, and we'll be almost ready. So yeah, because of the fixtures, the way it works, obviously midweek, they are going to be late ones, 7:30, 8, 8:15. Ones obviously during the working day. Won't be anyone watching it if they did them earlier than that. So yeah, Marmouche is on the list from 29. Yeah, I think a lot of people will keep an eye on Marmouche, including me. It's not a coincidence. They obviously got a hat trick the other night, and he's had about 3 or 4 offside goals, which could have reflected differently if those offside goals were onside and they counted. I think he's a real prospect for next season. Potentially a Haaland budget player. It will be interesting next season because when he did get a hat trick, Haaland was playing alongside him too. So it does mean they do play together, and he can still score well as Haaland didn't. Abbas, play Rodgers or Pedro, replace one. I'll probably replace Pedro. Or if you can, replace Rodgers from Burma. Or replace Pedro for Beto or Mateta. And front three right now, Cunha, Isaac, and Watkins. Then yeah, I'll probably take out Rodgers for Burma. And we can't do it now because deadline's up, but hopefully the your front three of Cunha, Isaac, and Watkins. Sorry, I got that mixed up with Abbas's question. I thought it's from the same person. That's a nice front three. Obviously, Cunha, Isaac, and Watkins. Watkins is different against Crystal Palace. It'll be a tough game. But I like the Cunha one. I think he will break the template with his arrival again. But if the deadline's up, guys, that is 6 o'clock. So that is it. There's no. Hopefully, you've locked in your team, moves, and you're locked in and ready for Tuesday night football. Good luck to everyone. Hopefully, you have a nice week. And we will be back. Let me just double check again. We'll be back. Well, surprisingly, tomorrow. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow for the knee-jerk reaction to react to how we've done, ranks and points wise, and how you guys have done so far this week. So yeah. Until then, guys, good luck. Good luck. Is it definitely closed? I can just double check that by refreshing my screen if it is or not. Yeah, it's definitely closed. So they haven't let you do it after 20 minutes like last game week. For those who didn't know, they did forget to close the window of opportunity when you can use a transfer, and you had like 20 minutes extra last deadline to do it in. So if you did take advantage of that last week, maybe I'll take advantage of it this week because they have now. The game is now updated, so you won't be able to do any moves and changes. But yeah, take care, guys. We'll see you tomorrow for the knee-jerk reaction. Hopefully you can join us then. It will be a late one, like I said, around 10 p.m., 10:15. We'll have to see when we can arrange that. But yeah, until then, guys, take care, and we'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully Huss is back tomorrow and you can join us as well for the stream. But until then, take care, guys, and see you soon.